Alrighty, guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Before we get into it, I know you're probably wondering, wow, that is a really cool Lego helmet. John, did you build that yourself? And the answer is yes, I did.
Nice.
All by myself. I'm very proud of myself, so it will be with me from now on. Today we're going to be talking about something that is very important to me and something that I feel like I am in the middle of these two warring kind of like factions of people that I agree with some points that some of them make and disagree with some points that some of them make as well. So I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. But we are going to be talking about a TikToker and just TikToks in general that they've made. So the TikToker in question is Fat Sapphic Bro, I believe. And I think their name is Soliloquy. I'm just going to go by the screen name on TikTok. So Fat Sapphic Bro. So what they do a lot on their TikToks is they kind of talk about fat liberation, health at every size, a lot of those type of topics. We've talked about them a lot before in the past. A lot of their stances and a lot of things that they actually say, I find myself agreeing with quite a bit, but there are pretty important things that I disagree with as well. So this video is going to be me kind of going over those TikToks, not me trying to bully, not me trying to send hate, so please don't do that, but me just kind of sharing these arguments and giving my counterpoints as why I maybe don't agree with everything, but I do want to share the things that I do agree with because I think that that is important. So without further ado, let's get into it. Familiar with TikTok, the way that it works, or the way that this sort of feature works, is that people can leave a comment and then you can make a TikTok replying to that specific comment, and that's what's going on here. So someone left a comment that said, "This is what is literally killing fat people." And they said, "Nah, Chief, pretty sure something else is killing fat people, heart failure," right? So that was a comment in response to one of their other TikToks. And now this is them making a TikTok responding to that comment. I know it's kind of convoluted, but I wanted to explain that in case you didn't know.
Oh, God. Let's do this, troll. This person says this is what, quote, "this is what is literally killing fat people," end quote. Not Chief. Pretty sure something else is killing fat people. Heart failure. All right, Chief, let's take a look at it then, since you seem to think you're more educated on this than I am. This is an article titled "The Relationship Between Obesity and Mortality in Patients with Heart Failure." And the results. The 4 BMI groups had similar profiles in terms of ejection fraction, sodium, creatinine, and smoking. The obese and overweight groups had significantly higher rates of hypertension and diabetes, as well as higher levels of cholesterol, triglycerides, and low-density lipoprotein cholesterol. The 4 BMI groups had similar survival rates, ejection fraction, heart failure etiology, and angiotensin-converting enzyme inhibitor use predicted survival on univariate analysis, although BMI did not. On multivariate analysis, cardiopulmonary exercise tests, pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, and serum sodium were strong predictors of survival. Higher BMI was not a risk factor for increased mortality, but was associated with a trend toward improved survival. Conclusion. In a large cohort of patients with advanced heart failure of multiple etiologies, obesity is not associated with increased mortality and may confer a more favorable prognosis. Further studies need to delineate whether weight loss promotion in medically optimized patients with heart failure is a worthwhile therapeutic goal. In other words, they believe.
So basically, what that was explaining was a study that happened that they found certain findings. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that study is like good or bad, or you should trust those findings, you shouldn't trust those findings. But what I will say is that, one, when it comes to heart failure, when it comes to obesity, I think that it is good to look into why does it seem that people that are obese or struggle with obesity seem to be dying from heart failure. So I think that doing these studies is a good thing to understand why that is happening. I'm not against studies by any means. But what I do think is important is just to point out, and maybe this is me being too contrarian, but I think it's important to point out that I firmly believe that any truth you want to find, any way that you want to bolster your narrative, you can find a study that will do that. Like, I fully believe that. So do I think this study has good points? I'm sure. But do I think that I could find a study that is the exact opposite of this? Absolutely, without the shadow of a doubt, right?
believe old biased research that says that fat people have more issues with heart failure, and they encourage people with heart failure to lose weight, but are actually finding that if you weigh more, you survive this better. So now they have to go back and second guess and re-research to find out whether or not it's actually safe to be encouraging patients with heart failure to lose weight, as that makes their outcomes shittier.
So again, at the end of the study, it said we still need to be doing more studies and there needs to be more research to find out whether losing weight is helpful for this or not, right? So it's not conclusive at all anyways. So again, it's like, I understand why you'd want to do this. You want to make your argument as, rock solid as possible. So you find studies that back up that claim, but there's almost always, and that's how science works, right? It's almost never, this is the truth and there's no other way around it. No, it's like, this is what we found and that correlates to XYZ thing. But again, it's not set in stone because that's just not how it works.
This is one article out of like a whole lot of articles I could have pulled. And this is an older article too.
So there, I just struggle with like, if there are better, newer, and more reliable articles that you could pull, I'm just like, why would you not also pull those, right? If like this entire TikTok, this entire video is to disprove what is being said here and to kind of like, crap on people. It says, I think in the hashtags, it says troll hunting, right? It's like, it's to make this person feel stupid and to show them how much smarter you are than them on this topic. Why would you not bring up the more relevant, newer, more concrete studies? It just doesn't really make sense to me.
I promise you don't know more about this than I do. I promise you're absolutely fucking ignorant.
And then that, again, I understand what it can be like getting frustrated with people that feel like they're just saying the same thing over and over again, but if that's how you're going to end your TikTok, and people aren't going to respond well to that. But then there's a newer TikTok. So this was from February. There's a newer TikTok that was from this month that kind of goes into it a little bit more. And again, this is a response to another comment. So we'll go over this one as well.
It isn't the weight killing people, and I think the other comment said it's the treatment. And yes, 100%. So we were talking about how weight loss surgery and losing weight rapidly and losing large chunks of weight have a lot of serious complications.
Right there, I agree with all of that. Losing weight rapidly, losing it really extremely, fasting to where you're barely eating anything. A lot of times, weight loss surgery, I'm not against weight loss surgery, but if it's not completely 100% necessary, I think that it's smart to try and find another route, just because there are so many complications that unless the surgery is absolutely necessary, there's no reason to go down that route if you can find another more healthy, more sustainable thing, right? This is where I agree with a lot of what is being said here, and even a lot of the comments that I've seen in these videos where people talk about the medical bias in the medical field of doctors that will see that you're obese, will see that you're overweight, and not care about anything else that you are saying, not care about any of the other symptoms that you have, and they are just worried about your weight. And that really, truly is a problem, and it really, truly can kill people, because if you are going to the doctor and saying I'm having these issues and they basically refuse to look at it because you are obese, that is a problem that needs to be addressed, and that is not okay. 1000%. I agree with that with my whole heart, right? But there are other things that are said that I just disagree with, that I can't stand behind. So that's why I feel like I'm in the middle of these two warring factions or something, right? The people that are super anti, like, fat person. It's like, if you're fat, that's the problem. That's the issue. That is like, you just need to lose weight and all your problems will be solved. And being fat is like a terrible thing. And it's like the worst thing in the world, right? Obviously, I don't agree with that, but then I'm not on the side of being fat is actually completely healthy. There's no issues from it, and the only reason there's issues with fat people is because they are trying to lose weight. I obviously disagree with that as well. So, okay, let's keep going.
Including higher risk of heart issues, because your body, when it is being starved, starts doing what's called muscle wasting. It starts eating at your muscle instead of your fat, and your heart is a muscle. So, do the math there. This is the big problem. And this.
So basically what's being said here is if you are in an extreme deficit, your body will start eating the muscle that you have and not the fat, and your heart is a muscle, so therefore you're basically, by losing weight too fast, you are encouraging your body to eat your heart, is basically what is being said here. And I do think that losing weight too fast is a problem. Do I think that you should be worried about your body cannibalizing your heart? I don't know, but that's basically the claim that's being said.
This is what really upsets me about fat people being treated as a weight loss problem, because you have a significant number of fat people who lose a significant amount of weight, especially in a very, very short period of time, and then eventually have heart attacks and don't survive.
What I am hearing is, because this is an issue of extreme weight loss, because there is the, again, this is a claim they're making. I don't know how true it is, but because what they are saying is if you lose weight too fast, it is possible to have issues with your heart because of that. So the answer, instead of maybe lose weight a little bit more safe, maybe go a little bit more slow, maybe try and understand, don't starve yourself, don't completely, jump off the deep end. Instead of doing that, just don't try and lose weight anymore, right? That's where I just disagree. And the argument could be made that they are, instead of saying you shouldn't lose weight, you shouldn't intentionally lose weight, which, if you're unfamiliar with that argument, basically intentional weight loss and weight loss are different things. Intentional weight loss is you intentionally trying to lose weight, right? I am intentionally trying to decrease my calories. I am intentionally trying to, look at the scale and make sure it's going down each week. I am intentionally doing these things because I want to lose weight, versus I have changed my lifestyle and these things I enjoy are now making me lose weight. And so I agree that a lot of the intentional ways of weight loss can be very, very dangerous, but just because there are bad parts of something, I don't think that makes all intentional weight loss bad, but I do believe that there are very unhealthy, toxic ways of losing weight that are still promoted, that are still celebrated even on the internet, that I think is good to talk about. But again, it's just going too far in the other direction, where it's like any type of weight loss is terrible for you, and now it's even being claimed that any type of extreme weight loss or even losing weight can basically make your heart eat itself, right? Your body eat its heart. Again, I just feel like it's going a little too far.
And then get blamed for the reason they died. So their treatments kill us, and then they still say, oh, it's because they were obese. And it's super fucked up. And I'm incredibly over it.
So basically those are the entire videos that I wanted to talk about. And, as far as my final thoughts on this, again, there are good points to be made when we're talking about, the health at every size movement, or just treating people that are struggling with obesity better. I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I've always been against the whole fat shaming or trying to, make people feel gross or feel bad about being overweight. But I'm also in the camp that I was there at one point in my life. I was struggling with my weight a ton, and I did not enjoy being obese. And it wasn't just because of the ridicule that you face. Obviously that stuff's not fun, but it was how I felt in my body, how limited I was in so many things that have nothing to do with anyone other than myself. There's no outside source that made it hard for me to tie my shoes and bend down and be able to do that, right? That was all me. There was no outside source that made me feel the way that I felt, the way that I was barely able to do anything, right? I sat at home all the time. I'd work a few hour shift and stand just for a couple hours, and I felt my feet were in excruciating pain. And so there's no outside source that made that happen. That was my weight causing me real life issues. And I think talking about those real life issues is something that we should do, and we shouldn't just go, being obese is totally fine and there's actually nothing wrong with it, and losing weight is actually the problem. That's where I just disagree. I think that losing weight in specific ways that are unhealthy, that can cause more issues, that can cause, the yo-yo dieting, all of that stuff. Yes, absolutely. But that's not what I promote. That's not what I talk about. So I'm just kind of curious what y'all think about this subject. Again, please don't go to this person's page and leave any hate or anything like that. If you have anything to say, there's a comment section here for a reason. Please feel free to use it. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, I'm just a dude, so let me know. But again, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.